So what's going on, everybody?
There we go. How's it going, everyone?
Oh my goodness, we are having some fun today.
Yeah,
we are having a blast.
We're being ridiculous.
We are going to start a new series. After a couple weeks of break, we are going to start a new series on the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm. The Commandments of 10.
Could have been 15, but Moses dropped one.
Yeah, right?
Thanks, Mel Brooks.
If you got that reference, like and subscribe, right?
Yeah, you're our people.
Yeah.
So, 15 commandments.
These 15, 10 commandments. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, definitely like and subscribe if you got that reference. So we're gonna kick off today at the beginning of the why. Right, the why. Who is God talking to? Like, why is this even coming about? Like, all of that. A lot of people like to talk right about the first. They skip Exodus 21 and 2. They go straight to the third verse, which is where "Thou shalt not" start. Right.
Thou shalt not.
So, today, I think we should start with Exodus 21 through 2.
21 through 2.
Yeah.
You gonna read it?
I am gonna read it. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, let's read it.
Cool.
Which version?
The right one. ESV.
Oh my gosh.
And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. So what's really cool and interesting about this is before the you shall. Yeah, I'm reading.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He says, I am, and I brought you out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am, and I brought you out.
So who is he? Where did he bring him out from?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to dive into today to start.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the same thing applies today, right?
Wow, you jumped from let's go from the beginning to application. Like, we just skipped,
and that's how it's
and
done.
that's how the episode's over. God bless. Right? Like, what the heck? Oh man. Why don't we start with like some starter questions?
You lead the way. I'll just
ask your questions.
Try to temper my
excitement
reactions and thought processes.
Well, I mean, after I ask a question, then you just run with it. That's what normally happens, and
yeah,
just
I
let
just
it go.
do what I want anyway.
Wait till I ask a question at least. Come on, right?
Man.
Right?
Right.
All right, let's get on with it.
I felt like one of those seagulls.
Mine? Yep.
What do you think we tend to focus on the commandments instead of... Why do you think we tend to focus on the commandments instead of the context of everything?
Why?
Yeah, why do we focus on the commandments and not like the full context of the scripture? I mean, as general Christians, like we want to argue about like whether they apply, whether all of the things, like, but we're not as concerned about why they were given. You know what I mean? In the first place.
Well, you need a code of conduct and morality, a law, so to speak, in which to operate. If you're going to be God's chosen people, as they were trying to need to be, you need to know how to operate as said people. And so what does it look like to be of this God? What does it look like to be different from the world? How do we operate versus everyone else? And the context in which it was written is actually interesting because it's not all that dissimilar in how it was formed, and the law that followed it, the extended rules and such, than some of the other cultures, the other belief systems. It wasn't all that different, which some people argue are like, well, does that mean they just kind of copied? No, I don't think that's the case. I am one that would argue that God was like, all right, so instead of giving you a completely new language today, let me talk in a language you understand so that you can apply this in a way that makes sense. Because it would be wild if he's like, so here's a completely different thing that you've never understood before, and let's just put it in place right away, and all their heads would explode. And no, he had to do it in a way that made sense so that they can start to apply it to themselves. And in this case, it was like, this is what it is to be one of God's people, one of Yahweh's, one of the I Am's people that he has called you to be. And then he gives you the top 10. These are the things that, This is the basis of it all. And of course, later on, we know that Jesus kind of summarized it. He took 10 and put it into 2.
Yeah.
And
which I want to talk about at the end of the series. So yeah, I think that is like, well, not that you can't talk about it now, but I think that would be a good wrap up for the end of the series. So
yeah.
But you can talk about it now. That's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, he took. So
if you really want to.
He basically stated that, by these 2 commandments, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself, it encapsulates all of
them,
right? The law and especially the 10 commandments. And when you look at them and you realize what he's saying, it's like, if you are loving your neighbor, you're not stealing from them. If you are loving your God, you're not going to have any idols before them. Right. All these things fit into place under those 2 main points and those right. 2 lines of thinking. And so it was great for him to kind of simplify it away, but I think that's why it's still important to look at them today, and it's easy to look at them because we can see and go, all right, so this one means this one means that. I think that's maybe why it gets that focus. It's because it's easiest just to pick one out and go, okay, do not steal. Got it. All right, that's eatable. We can get that.
So before I toss this completely out to you guys, I want to hear all the listeners' thoughts on this. But what assumptions do people make about God when they hear the word commandment? Just comment that. Like, I want to hear what you guys think that people assume, right, about God when they hear the word commandment. Mm-hmm. So, what do you guys think? What do people assume when they hear what do they assume about God when they hear the word commandment?
I think do you want to hit it first? I mean, because I've been talking.
I was gonna say probably mostly feel like he's a dictator. Like here's the rules you have to follow if you're gonna be a Christian. Which I mean, like go look at any job. Here's the rules and regulations you follow, and if you don't follow the regulations, you're out. I actually was realizing when I went through the Mosaic Covenant months ago, when I went through that whole teaching, realizing that it's like most of the arguments are, why do we have to obey these? What are we still obeying? And things like that. When you start looking at it and you look at the fact that as a Christian, these should now become a byproduct of what you become. So therefore, now that I'm a child of God, I don't want to steal. I don't want to covet my neighbor's wife. These should all be things that just happen. Like,
yeah.
Yep. Like you said, it's the instilled moral code.
Yeah. So I think outwardly, when you look at it, it looks like just a list of do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the danger that we run into, where people start making it into check boxes and stuff like that, and they try to make it black and white, and they're not trying to really understand or anything like that. So it's just like, well, religion, it's just a bunch of things you can do or can't do, and it's like, okay, it's not all that it is to be. I mean, does it give you some direction? Absolutely. In the positive way, yes. In the negative way, yes. But there's more to it, and that's when you're at that level where that's where you're thinking about the 10 Commandments, or that's when you're thinking about the law, or that's what you think about the Bible in general, that it's just a bunch of do's and don'ts. You're definitely surface level, and you desperately need to go deeper.
Now, I don't want people to miss that. I mean, the 10 Commandments. I mean, everything is black and white, but God is so great that He is merciful enough to meet us in the gray that we can't fulfill perfectly, right? We muddy things, I think, a lot of times. So not that you're right, it's not a black and white as in it's easy to do all of these things and then it's a checkbox or anything like that, right? Which is where a lot of people end up going with it. But it is clear that this is here. And we will dive into why, right? Like the why it is here, we'll dive into, because as we unpack it, I think it'll be easy to show that it was letting us know something about ourselves that is really kind of refreshing about all of us, right? So, and these guys are probably like, I don't know where he's going with this, but we'll get there.
That's okay. We've learned to follow you.
But I love it that you're talking about the whole, like, we see it as this
checkbox, right?
And I did it, or I missed this one. Like, okay, that is definitely missing the point in all of that.
But that also becomes a stumbling block for so many people, especially if they see this list and then they suddenly realize that they can't check that they did good here.
Right.
when you look at the list and you're like, oh man, I've done this thing that it says not to do, whether it's stealing, whether it's giving false witness, something like or even worse, then it's like, well, for them, it's like, well, I've already messed it up. It's over.
Yep.
It's done with me. And then that's where you definitely have missed some of the greater point of the Bible.
You missed the purpose of it.
Right?
Right?
Man, that shows you where you failed, but the grace of God takes over there. And, when you let him operate, then you're going to be okay.
For sure.
It's like the rules that are also guidelines.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're as loosey-goosey as guidelines.
I'm not saying no, but I said
we will
rules.
dive into that. Yeah,
I said the rules.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like because they become ways that you just kind of that guide your life instead of just
Sure.
rules that like, okay, rule number 1.
It's not a check.
It's
I
a way
did
that
it or
kinda
didn't do it.
guides you
It's
forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Clarity.
Before we talk about what God commands, right?
What?
Shouldn't we ask who is giving the commands and who he is speaking to, which is what we're going to transition to here after the opening. So
After the break?
yeah, after the break, man, it's coming. So
It's coming. The break is coming, guys.
The break is,
Get ready.
welcome to the Truth Response.
In the noise, in the fire, we seek the truth. We climb higher, not just echoes, not just talk. We walk the path, we walk the walk. Truth in the battle, light in the loss. What we seek, clarity in chaos.
All right, Matt, why don't you pray for us today?
Okay.
You seem to be a little spunky.
Lord, thank you for today. Just for the ability to continue to breathe, that you have given us everything, and that you continue to bless us, even when we don't perceive it. You're there. You've gone ahead of things, behind us, and with us on every step. Be with us today in this conversation, in this room, through these microphones, to the ears of the listeners, to the eyes of the watchers. Connect us all in your grace and in your power, and let's bring glory to your name and your kingdom. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Not to rabbit trail like we always do, but I really appreciated that slowed down prayer. A lot of times we rush through a lot of things like that, like just hey God, da 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 da, and then we're done. And
I was just kind of.
it was really nice, just to like that was
I
really
was just kind of feeling it.
refreshing,
Yeah.
like it really was. So that just hit me weird. I was like, oh,
Huh.
this is nice. This
is
is a
nice.
nice pace.
Let us
I don't
know in the comments. Did that
So
work?
sorry, I know that I'm not really sorry because that's what we do here.
A whole
at
other
the
channel,
Truth
ASMR
Responses.
prayers.
ASMR prayers.
That would be wild. I
Like
bet you-
prayer while
there
chewing.
probably is something like that.
That's well, I guess if the Lord's name is preached in vain or in sincerity,
Pre-
whatever,
like
it
praying in
leads
a
me.
deep voice, or like praying while chewing, right? And then right,
That was why I was really excited about like James Earl Jones reading the Bible.
right? That'd be sweet.
In the beginning, I'm like, yes, Lord Vader, let's go.
Yes, Lord Vader.
Read me the Bible. Let's talk about Jesus, Vader. Let's go.
Oh my goodness! All right, so who received the commandments?
The
The Hebrews.
Was not formed like a question, so therefore you both got it wrong. No.
What is
What
the
is a
nation
Jew?
of Israel?
Right.
But there you go. All right. So okay,
How much did I wager? All of it.
Right.
all of it. At this point, so when they're being given the law, what had God already done for Israel before giving them the law? What was the what are they coming out of? Like what expound upon that? a little bit.
Slavery. That's the short answer. How long were they slaves?
for 400 years.
That's a long time.
Well, okay, so that 400 years in Egypt, so they got into Egypt because of Joseph. Joseph got them in. He was the doorway in which the Israelites were saved. And actually, it was important that they did get into Egypt at the time because there was a great famine. If you read through Genesis and the story of Joseph, right before, at the end of the book, so it's, so you know where it is, you're going to figure out why, because there was such a great famine, and Joseph was put in position really by God to be able to control food supply and therefore save his family, therefore the Israelite nation, the beginnings of it anyway. And then once they're in Israel, they of course keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. The problem over time is that the generation which they saw, the Egyptian generation that loved Joseph, died off. And then a new generation rose up, and they see this growing nation within themselves of these Hebrews, and they resent them, they're afraid of them, and so they decide to subdue them. And in that process comes hard labor and mistreatment, to say the least. And so this goes for about 400 years. And that's at that point, there's this guy comes on the scene.
What's his name?
It rhymes with Joses.
Okay.
Moses.
Joses.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that
Moses.
Noah guy, right?
Yeah.
That
There
Noah
was
guy.
Moses, of course, there's a Pharaoh in place that's terrible and wants to kill all the babies. Theologically, definitely that's a satanic thing, because Satan wants to destroy all the seed of the woman. That being said, and that's a whole nother episode, but tries to kill all the babies, and then Moses is put in a basket and is saved by, of all people, an Egyptian. So there you go. They gets brought into the Egyptian house and gets raised like an Egyptian, although he walks like an Egyptian, he realizes he is a Hebrew, and that is a mind-blowing thing. He ends up killing a guy, runs away, and tries to kind of banish himself, and that is when he meets God, and God goes, all right, now you're going back. And he says, that's not a good idea. And he's like, nah, it's cool, I got you. And sends Moses back in.
This is the abridged version.
Yeah.
This I love doing it
I did
way.
this once for young adults. It was great. I actually had two guys
All right.
completely unscripted, and I gave them scripts, God and Moses, and I said, you go, and then you go, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah. And
Before
so
we
that's,
go on,
that's the scene in which
Yeah.
Moses arrives, and to try to get the
Let's dive into a
Hebrews
little bit
out.
of that real quick.
Let's dive
A little bit of what?
Just of what he's said so far.
Okay.
Let's start with the we've talked a lot about Joseph in the past. So let's actually talk about the slavery bit.
the slavery bit.
We
The other
talk about-
podcast we do.
We
Sorry.
talk about a lot of times as Christians, slavery is not the same thing in Scripture as it is in our history, in American history. Is this the type of slavery that we've seen in American history, or is this something different?
This is actually closer. Okay, so slavery's always been around,
Right.
but this slavery that they're facing, the Egyptians are putting on them, is more like the slavery we had in the United States than the normal slavery around the world. Normal slavery can go in, you can put yourself into slavery, especially if you're in debt and you're like, oh, I'll just work it off. And then
We usually use a different word for that.
indenturement and stuff like that.
Indentured
But still,
servitude or
you can
something.
put yourself as a slave to a
Right.
person. So that's slavery as a whole. And even then, there's some times where slaves get treated really well, and so forth and so on. This one was something where they just did not like this kind of people,
Yeah.
and decided that we're better than you, and we're going to use you, and we're going to treat you badly. And you can tell that by some of the reactions, even as some of the plagues come, that they wanted to really press down these people. I would say it's closest to what happened here, especially in the American history, and it's not just American history, by the way. Obviously,
Right.
this happened not just in America. I love how we get pointed at,
Of course.
Yeah.
but we went along with what England was doing and a lot of these other places were doing. So
Not even
just
to
for the
go,
record.
not even to mention the fact that the Africans who they got the slaves from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Look, there's a lot that we can get. We're not going to.
There's a long
This
rabbit
is not
trail
a
right there.
podcast on slavery today, but
No.
So,
No,
but
but-
yeah, but there was a lot of mistreatment. There was a lot of hatred because of their race, And so it's like this, where it wasn't like people could be slaves of the same race, of the same nationality, of the same everything. And I think that was a little bit of a difference. There was the idea of getting conquered and then becoming slaves, but that necessarily wasn't the same thing as what is happening here. This was actually a blatant, purposeful attack kind of on these group of people of like, you're going to be subservient to us.
So that's the who.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. I like to clarify some of that stuff because that's a hot button topic when it comes to, well, your Bible says that slavery is okay, because don't you see what they did here and here? And it's like, okay, there's descriptive and there's prescriptive.
Well,
and this is like describing what the Israelites were under here. And this is the closest I agree with.
Yeah, and there's a
everything
big
said on
difference in
that,
the New Testament when he's talking about different kinds of slavery, especially when he's talking a lot about that indenturement kind of slavery where people would kind of enter into it almost willingly or out of need. And so, he's talking about, well, if you are a slave to someone, if you're indentured to them, do a good job. And if you have someone that's indentured to you, treat them well.
Right.
So it's acknowledging it. It's not acknowledging what happened in America, and it's not acknowledging the kind of stuff that would have happened in Egypt. It was acknowledging the period of time and the type of slavery that was most common in that era.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that although we are only going over the 10 commandments, right, in the series, like there are more commandments, there's more commands that are given to the nation of Israel surrounding it. And I mean, if you want to, you could go briefly into like those different types that there are, whatever we call them. Like the ritualistic or whatever, and all the different.
Yeah.
But before I let you go,
Right.
before I let you go, hold on.
He's looking at the lure.
It's important to remember that this is what they're coming out of when receiving all of those commandments.
Sure.
This is the same context in which they're coming from when they receive all of those things. So, keeping it in context, if you're reading on in Exodus at all about any of these things, like. Just keep that in mind, that this is all of the same context that they're coming from, So go ahead.
I was just going to say, when it comes to what Paul says later on in the New Testament, I think those same things should apply no matter what slavery we're looking at. Like, I'm let's go ahead and agree at the forefront that there's a lot of that. I'm not a good at the idea of slavery, of any kind. But especially the kind that we had here, not good.
Right.
And that's not cool. But that being said, that those policies of, if you are indentured to someone or slave, do a good job, treat them well, do what you're supposed to do. And then the same thing is, I think if you have people that are indentured to you, treat them well. I think it goes across all of the lines there. So I don't think it's just to one type. That being said, the biggest reason then, and we can talk about how they came out of Egypt and the events.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason then, because of their 400 years in Egypt, and the fact that they'd been under these people, that they needed this code of conduct, these 10 commandments, and then the laws following, is because at 400 years you're starting to adapt some of the practices that you're around, and in 400 years they're forcing you to do certain things, and you start to get used to a certain way of living, and so. He needed to kind of start to break them of this. And the 10 commandments are like all right, this needs to happen first. You need to acknowledge that this is it.
It was the hard reset.
Things, this is the big button of going, okay, all that stuff, first things first, these 10. And if you have nothing else in you, these 10, and then we'll start moving forward from there.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to ask the angry Christian question. So if you subscribe to the idea that God pretty much sees everything that's going to happen, he's got a plan for everything, then you have to ask the question. I've had people ask me this before. It's like, so God goes to this painstaking thing to train Joseph, to get him into position where he can finally bring in his family, and that brings about them moving into there, only to have them end up in slavery and then have to like wander across. So then the question is, why would an all-loving, all-justification God put them in that position? Why would God move them into 400 years of slavery? There's your angry Christian question.
Interesting. So I don't know, like, if I don't like the angry Christian label, but well, the thing is that he also told ahead of time that this was going to happen.
Okay, fair enough.
Before it ever happened, before they ever went to Egypt, he said it was going to happen. He said it was going to be 400 years, way ahead. So if you go back in Genesis, he says it. So he had a plan the whole time. Why would he do this? Well, Sometimes it's if you have someone who everything's going well, why do they want to listen? And sometimes someone needs to be broken in order to actually reach out to God and go, please help me back up. When you have a nation of people that's going to represent you, you have to show them sometimes the need. And it's on someone. So it's not. It's crazy to think about, but you need to. And it all works to the same purpose. He had a purpose in mind. And like, look, you're going to be my people, and you're going to live here as my people, and it's going to get hard, but I'm coming for you. And the thing is that because the promise was given prior to Egypt, they should have been holding on to that promise the whole time. There was a reason to stay completely faithful, knowing that there's an expiration date to this. But sometimes, and that's one of the times in the Bible you see them lose sight of the promise, because even Joseph told them, hey, when you leave, take my bones with you. He knew they were leaving. Right? So, but they lose sight of this because it's easy sometimes, and I said this in a sermon I did a couple weeks ago. It's so easy to stare at the problem and take your eyes off God.
Oh yeah.
And that's what they do. As human beings, we do it all the time. And so you have to have a nation's like, okay, I'm going to show you what it looks like to not see this happen. I'm going to tell you it's going to happen, and then I'm going to break you out of it in a dramatic way, and then I'm going to shake it all out of you for a while, and then you're going to be my people, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to use your story to show how powerful I am to the other nations, to show you as a people why you need me, why I am the powerful God, why I am the God, and then be able to move you forward on that basis. And even then, it didn't take them long to continue to screw it up and screw it up.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I think that a lot of times God uses his people to also judge other people.
Oh yeah.
And
judged
bring
Israel,
judgment
Egypt, for sure.
upon. Bring judgment upon. And I don't mean that he told them to judge people, right? We get all triggered over that word. But I mean, like, look at what happened, right? God's people were actually in a good place until a change of regime happened, right? So he was actually protecting his people. And then he gave the Egyptians 400 extra years of being around his people that opportunity to change their ways.
Sure.
Right?
That's an interesting perspective.
And so then after that, he's like, done.
Right.
Well, I think you're right.
And here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dismantle each one of your gods.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go through, and that was the plagues, right? Like he's like, oh yeah, you think this God's so great? Check out what I can do.
Boom.
And I mean, there's books about talking about killing the Egyptian gods, that God single-handedly went through and actually dismantled each and every one of them showing he's greater. So.
Egypt saw themselves, and it was God work. God put this is what they missed. It was Yahweh who put them on the map.
Right.
It wasn't all these other gods.
Yep.
Yahweh put Egypt on the map. He used Joseph to put Egypt on the map so that his people could come into Egypt and live. And then their pride over 400 years got worse and worse and worse. They have these other gods. These are the gods. This is what, and Yahweh's going, you forgot everything, and then humbled them God by God.
Well, don't forget also, God saved the Egyptian people.
Oh yes, he did.
Through Joseph. Because if they hadn't had Joseph, their people would have died out too.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing is showing his mercy. Now, it's not God's fault if the people that he's trying to save choose a different path.
Sure.
Right? You don't blame God for people's decisions to not do the right thing anymore,
right? Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
I mean, but we do that a lot, right? As people, as humans, like we do that a lot. Is we blame God for, well, you let this happen, just like you're angry. You let this happen. It's like, well, no, I saved these people. I saved both peoples using one man, right? Who was willing to follow me in all of the circumstances, and he went through hell in order to do so. And I saved both peoples, and they decided to change their mind on things. They decided to be the problem.
Isn't that the beauty of it, though? He used one man to bring the Egyptians in. To bring them into Egypt,
Right.
and another one man to bring them out.
Right.
And this the different pattern of what it looked to go from out to in and then back out again, and how they had to be a humbling to go to Egypt to get the food to survive. There had to be a humbling of Joseph, and then to get in, and then it had to be a humbling of Egypt to get out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have a people that's why the rules come into place. Circling back, they've been there for so long that they're all mixed up. And God's like, all right, let's start here.
Yep. Question: just completely forgetting the timeline. Did this all happen before or after the flood?
This is after flood.
After flood. Okay, I was gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna throw out the idea because I've heard people posture the idea that before the flood, people lived to 900 years old, and this was just normal. This is just one. But then afterwards is when you started seeing the decline of.
Yeah, it actually happens pretty fast. He said that they're not going to live that long anymore.
Yep.
And within the next couple generations, they were living way younger. Mm-hmm. The next person.
And then we invented McDonald's.
Oh goodness. So. Yeah, but no, Abraham lived over 100 years old. He got called real late in life. At that point, he was still pretty, what we'll call virile up until that point, a lot different than it is today. But it was like the cooling off of the genes, so to speak, right after the flood, and things started to happen pretty quickly. There's also the thought process that Abraham may have actually interacted with or known of some of Noah's children who may have still been alive at that time. And so with all that in place, even though they may have still been around, there's a lot of need for God to go, okay, I've reset everything and I've spread everything out, Tower of Babel. Yep. And now I need to concentrate this and have a mission. And that's where the Israelites come in. You have a guy named Abraham that was called to be the father of a nation. Mm-hmm. Through him, where it was a son, had sons, and it just keeps going and going and going. And once you have this thing started, you gotta bring them together, and you gotta be like, all right, you're gonna be my people. And the thing is, what's amazing is he gave them. If there was more of a solid foundation to go, I am God, I'm your God, and this is how you will live. Mm-hmm. He used this whole experience to do just that. Not only that, but he put himself on the map, not only to them, but to the nations around him that were now hearing about what happened in Egypt.
Yep.
And happened to the Egyptians. So,
well said.
So he sent the plagues using Moses, right, to finally make Pharaoh go, fine, get out.
He broke him.
Right. Yep. And then, which gave us Passover. Right, that's what the remembrance of Passover, and then they start heading out, and Pharaoh's like, "Nope, I've changed my mind."
Yep.
And so sends his army after him, right? And then the Red Sea thing happens, which, even if you want to go with the scientific thought process that it was dried up or whatever, who cares? That's a great phenomenon that doesn't happen today, right?
No.
So we can all agree that nobody has seen that happen. This side of history.
It's child's play for God. He created everything,
right?
And so for him, parting some waters is not a big deal. And if you can understand that God did create absolutely anything, seriously, the floods. The parting of the water is not a big deal.
Well, even if you want to subscribe to the scientific thought process of it's possible, okay, but at that time, at the immediate time that they needed it, only for as long as they needed it, that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's
that's
God using the world that He created to make a way and judge some people, right?
Yeah.
I'm just
saying, somebody in that crowd was like, "This is convenient."
It was the ultimate deliverance matched with the ultimate humbling,
right?
Because you had the Hebrews who were standing by the waterside going, we're trapped, we have no way out. It is absolutely impossible. And then God goes, bet.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, opens the waters up. Not only that, but then you have the ultimate humbling of the Egyptians who are like, we're going to go crush these guys. They've got nowhere to run. And then they were quite literally swept away.
Yeah.
And that is fascinating. Can you imagine hearing what happened about this?
Right.
And going, wait, God did what?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, to the strongest nation.
Yeah.
because Egypt was the
Biggest
strongest
nation. Yep.
Yeah. So he went and took out the powerhouse.
Yep. So, okay. So this is all like, this is all the setup to what God was doing for his people and honestly, for the Egyptians in leading up to the commandments. And I know that a lot of times Christians today, we fall into this mindset of like, we've got to earn God's acceptance through obedience. And so we have this mindset a lot of times where it's a checkbox or whatever, like you mentioned at the beginning, like that if we do these things, God's going to save us right out of this thing or pull us out of this thing. And we I mean, obviously we've seen that, all right, he saved them before giving him these commands. How different would it be if the story was reversed, right? Where it's, if you obey these commands, then I'll rescue you out of Egypt.
Our whole Bible would be different. Everything we know about God would be completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, because the same thing that happened to them is for us today. And that's what I was starting with there. Like all this stuff, it's not just the story of the past. It's completely applicable today.
Yeah.
Because God wants to bring you out of whatever your problems you're in. And maybe he's let it happen so that he can finally get you to reach out to him or understand. But the thing is, he wants to bring you out. And then he'll start to go, all right, now that you're mine, let's talk about how we should get better.
Yeah.
And so the same thing applies then. And man, it's so easily missed, especially when you're just trying to check a box. And the problem with checking the boxes is like none of us can check them without going, I couldn't have checked this before.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if there was ever a time where you're like, I can't check it, that's still on your record unless you don't get to just erase it yourself. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah. So that's where they're coming from. Now, if the commandments weren't given to earn salvation, and we can talk about that as Christians, earning salvation into heaven, but even just for them to earn salvation as in out of Egypt, even at that moment, in a practical way of talking about it, then why were they given? Like, let's transition into the why were the commandments given. So what do you think God's purpose was in giving his people the 10 commandments?
Well, I mean, like I started, well, you can go first.
No.
When you started, like I started earlier, I mean, first off, they've been indoctrinated, so to speak, to a whole different kind of living. And who knows what at this point, we can only guess what they've given up, what they don't know about God, what they put as priorities in their lives, what they've accepted to slide, let go of. And so first he's going to start, okay, here's it. And I think it's number one to show that first off, I'm your God. So I want you to listen to me, and now you have good reason to. Number two, this is what you need to start doing right off the bat. We're going to start cutting all the worst parts out right now. And then what's hard to see sometimes if you're looking at it from the outside surface is that he's also showing them his love and how to love.
Yeah.
How to love him, how to love everyone else. Mm-hmm. And by doing these things, you're going to change the minds of so many people. If you can live this way, everybody's going to know that you're mine. Everybody's going to know that there's something different about my nation. And so, and the thing about it is every single law should speak, and he wrote his law in our hearts already, and he points out in the Bible that he's written it on our hearts. There's stuff that we know in our hearts to be true. You might want to fight God, and so the first 4 commandments might be like, but the other ones are true. You know you shouldn't steal from someone. You know inherently that adultery is bad. You know that murdering someone's not good. You know that if you can't stop but keep wanting what your neighbor's got, that it's going to lead to bad things.
Of course.
Usually in your checkbook.
Yeah.
But whatever. Or maybe you'll be tempted to do something dumb. But you know these kinds of things aren't right. You know that if somebody were to ask you what happened over there and you gave a completely false story and someone went and got in trouble for it, that's not okay.
Of course.
So it should hit you in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the things about the first 4 commandments is when God's starting to establish, look, I am God. You're not going to have it. There's no other gods. You know, you're going to honor me. Like those kinds of things, we kind of know in our hearts, like, man, he's kind of pointing out, like, you've known this, and now I'm kind of just hammering it down.
Yep.
And if by the time he gave these commandments to them, when he starts out that way, it's kind of doubling down. Look, you know who I am now. You know what I can do now. And there is nothing but me. So do not go out trying to find other things. Don't be worshiping these other idols. Don't be drawing calves. Don't be doing any of that stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but while he was writing those things, weren't they crafting a golden calf?
Yes, they
at the
were.
base of the
And he's like, I'm going to start right there. Right there.
I just feel like I'm looking around the mountain and being like,
Define
oh my
irony.
gosh. All right, let's start with this.
No,
More gods.
You know what my
Fine irony.
talk about? No. The irony is this: is that how Moses kind of missed it. Right?
Yeah.
He goes and starts writing. He's like, Moses doesn't know what they're doing right now, but I'm going to address this right
right.
now. Moses gets down, gets mad, smashes the tablets, and God's like, okay, let's try this again. You know, it's like he was bringing you instructions to tell them why they were wrong, like right there. Like, come on. And so,
Well, I think it's also important to point out that whenever they went into Egypt, they were one family. And now there are 1 million people. Like this is new to some degree to them. They know that Yahweh is the God. They know that he is to be worshipped. They know that, but they don't know him as much yet. You know what I mean? They still are babies in the grand scheme of things when it comes to that. Like, because we know from history, in all parts of history, that, you know, as things move on, people don't actually pay attention to history.
No, they
you
really
know?
don't.
And they end up repeating the problems of the past. And so, like, now this nation went from, you know, what, 30, 40 people to million plus. And so there's got to be some, like, transition. All right, now you're out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I've got to teach you some things. Like,
Yep.
And
And,
I
a game of telephone. Remember back in the day when we did this thing?
yeah.
Like, Grandpa, you're so funny. And like you're talking about the indoctrination. I mean, like, they erected a pole with a snake and then they started worshiping the snake. You know, it's like, and then they, you know, it's like every time something goes and hits the fan. Am I misremembering that story?
the snake was to heal people.
Right. But wasn't there a point where they started worshiping the snake because the snake was what was healing them? Or am I just misremembering the story completely?
Now you're messing with my head.
Oh.
Anyway.
Anyway, but seeing is how, like, every time something turns around, they turn around and go, well, we should probably make something to worship. It's like, guys, that was Egypt. It's like, that's not what you're supposed to do. They were wrong. We're doing things new now.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, and I want to kind of press into it a little bit more, is that, like, God's also introducing, like, his passion, his heart. You know, because he starts out, before he gives the 10 Commandments, I'm the God that saves you. And so basically it's like, I love you, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to love me back. I want you to love everyone else.
Yep.
And today's message is the same. I love you, and I want to save you. And because I can do that, I just want you to love me back. I want you to treat everyone the same. And so it hasn't changed. It's the same God. You know, and people look at it and they see rough edges when they see these stories. They see dark things. His message has been the same. I want to save you. I want to bring you out, and I want to make you better.
Yeah.
And what do I ask? Love me back, because obviously me saving you, I love you, and because I've saved you, because I've given you something that honestly you didn't even deserve. At no point did they deserve, right?
Sure.
But treat people well. Then you didn't deserve it. Maybe they don't either. Treat them well.
Yeah.
You know, there's such a heart in it that it's so easy to miss. It really is. Because like I said, everybody wants to see just do's and don'ts.
Sure.
But there's such love and passion in these words. And I love that you pointed out that the verses before, because that's the truth of it. I love you, therefore I want you to live this way so that my love can be shown to you and through you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about the law, right?
Yeah.
What kind of emotions does that bring to mind generally in people when you're talking about law?
To
Most
the,
people don't like it.
to the uninitiated, resentment. Yeah. They see, that's really it. They hate the fact that
I was getting caught up on that story, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay. They hate the fact that they're told what to do.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to the I want to be my own God, which also, first one. But you know, I want to be my own God. I want to live the life I want to. And God's like, yeah, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
I created everything. I can save you. I'm the God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, how often do we see laws and rules as a cage?
Of course. Yep.
I think it's a shame too. By the way, I just thought about the Captain Phillips thing. Look at me. I'm God now. So, but how do we, because I can't help myself. It's the way my mind works.
Yeah.
How often I think when you miss the fact that they actually bring freedom.
Well, how? How can a law bring freedom?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Have you ever gone bowling and had the guards up, and you're like, you get a strike every time because the guards are in place to make sure you don't go too far outside the
I'm
lines?
still getting the gutter now.
Right.
Right. When you put the guards down, then you have freedom to fail.
Right.
Well, yeah, there's freedom to fail, but the thing about what's beautiful about God's law, well, actually, especially when it's completed with the gospel. I want to say this. What's beautiful about God's law, because it's completed in the gospel, the good news, that what Jesus did for us on the cross, is that we know that although these laws point out to us just how wicked we sometimes can be and how far short we fall, right? There's freedom to know that God can save us, he can forgive us, and that we can continue to live our lives without fear that we're going to constantly mess up. The law is wonderful because as we continue to work it into our very fabric of our DNA and our lives and our souls, we're not thinking about, am I doing this or not? It's going to start coming naturally to you. And so that weight, that pressure doesn't exist anymore. It just becomes natural to you. And that's what God really wants us to do. He wants us to not just look at it and go, have I done this or have I not? But have it woven into our very soul so that, and in our hearts of hearts, so that it's so natural. It's kind of like when, Peter asked Jesus, how many times should I forgive my neighbor? And he's thinking he's going to throw out a big number because in that society, there's a limit. And he's like, should I do it 7 times? And everybody would have been like, oh my gosh, 7 times? That's a lot,
man.
And then Jesus is going, how about 7 times 70 or 70 times 7 times? And although we're looking at it so there is a number. No, the idea is that you forgive so much. It's just who you are now.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you see the 10 Commandments, it should just be who you are
now.
It shouldn't be, you should never think of it as like, oh, have I done this? Have I not? It should be just so ingrained in you that that's how you live your life. And in that, you're going to find an incredible freedom because, number one, you're not thinking about whether you're doing it or not all the time. That's too much pressure. But there's freedom because you're just living now in a good way. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's also wonderful because we know that those times where we did mess up, Jesus took care of that.
Yep.
Yeah. What are some practical things today, laws today, that we can see freedom coming from? I'll give you one.
Give me one.
Marriage boundaries. Right? Now, if you're living outside the marriage boundaries, right?
That's what repentance is for.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry.
But you can easily see all the problems that arise from it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, doesn't take very long
Nope.
to find out that, now there's trust broken,
Yep.
right? Now there's possibly a kid outside
Yep.
of, outside of your marriage that you've got, and all of the brokenness that comes from living outside of what the original plan is, right? Like the boundaries, the laws that are given, traffic laws.
Yep.
Right? A lot of people are like, oh, there can't be freedom because there's traffic. Well, actually, if you break the laws, you don't get to have the freedom of driving.
Yeah.
Right? But also, as long as you're not breaking those traffic laws, you can go just about anywhere.
Yep.
You can travel freely.
Yep. Well, how many times have you been driving on 75? You're like, I wish this was 90. And then some guy comes flying past you at 120 and you're like, that guy should be arrested. You're going too fast. Okay, well, now you have a parameter in your head somewhere.
Right.
I'm acceptable with this, but not with that one. But I mean, even back, like, I'm thinking about, like, I was homeschooled my whole life, and so it was myself, my younger brother, and my younger sister. We all sat around a table. My mom was very clear. Here's the schedule. Every day we sit down at 9, and at 10:30 you take half an hour break. You then work from 11 to 12, and then you get a 1 hour lunch, and then and it was very broken up. My brother followed that to the T. My sister and I fought it. I kept trying to find ways to get around it and not do and skip ahead and try to do. My mom would disappear and do something, and I would go goof off. And wouldn't you know it, my brother would get done. He'd be done for the day, and I'd be stuck for an extra hour and a half because I goofed off. So on some level, you're going, I want the freedom to make my own choices. Yes, that's true. But if God says, here's the things you're going to do, and by doing those things, you will succeed. So there's your freedom. Like, just, like, do the things, and you win much faster than those people will. But I want the freedom to make my own choice. Like, okay, but you also get the freedom to suffer
Reap
the consequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say if, trespassing laws. Yeah. That way you have the freedom to enjoy your property without having to worry about people coming into your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's glory right there.
Really close to having borders.
Right.
And I was gonna build a fence. I mean a wall.
Hey.
I mean, whoa, no. I mean a fence.
It's going to be the best wall.
It's gonna.
If God's law is good, why do people struggle with it so much? And this is getting towards the real heart
Because we
of
don't
the
like
problem.
we don't like being told what to do.
We don't like being told what to do.
I've told almost every single person I've ever worked for, I said, one thing you're going to need to know about me up front. If you ask me to do something, I will do it every time. If you tell me to do something, I will fight you every step of the way. I was like, there's something inside of me that goes, nah, I'm not, I don't like the being told.
I was having a conversation today about dogs, right? And how, yeah. And,
Like
and how-
DAWG, like
No.
brothers.
What's up,
No.
dogs?
Right?
No,
Just
not
go
those
ahead.
kind of dogs.
Okay.
D-O-double-G's?
If that's what you
sorry.
thought immediately, please unsubscribe.
No.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
terrible.
No, but dogs, how when you have a dog who is trying to learn the hierarchy in the household, right? And they're trying to assert their dominance, sometimes takes a little bit to get into their head that, like, no, you don't know what's best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in charge here, you know.
Yep.
So sometimes a direct command is required. And
So you don't just need to be tall like me, go in, speak loud, and physically dominate them?
yes,
Okay, just want that.
God did it, right?
Right?
He did it by, rescuing them and telling them, these are the things I want you to do. No, but what is the root of this problem, right? Like, what is is it God's commands? Is God's commands the problem?
No.
Is it that he has the authority? Is that the problem?
No.
It's that we believe the lies that we should be in authority and that we should have the freedom to do what we want. And when we hear this is how you should do things, there's a little voice that goes, how dare someone tell you how to live your life? And we go, yeah, that's right. How dare someone?
That's right.
And we don't realize what voice we're listening to. And we
There
take
it
it.
is.
We just do it.
It's a heart problem, man. It's a heart problem.
always
We've
a
talked about heart problems for long time.
Long time now.
It's
Seems to keep coming back. It's a reoccurring theme.
Long time ago.
All right, Romans 7:12 says, "So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and righteous and good." Right? So if God's law is holy and good, why do we want to resist something that is holy and good?
Because we're tricked.
Because we want to believe we're holy and
By
good.
what? What are we tricked by? Because
Lies
I love this
and
this
deceit.
line of thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to know where you're going to go with it.
Spiritual warfare, the enemy, the wanting us to reject things that are good and of God. And
What about James?
what?
About what James says about it?
What does James say about it?
What specifically are you asking?
Well, what entices us?
What entices us?
Yeah.
You got temptation,
Yeah,
our
but-
evil thoughts, the heart.
It's us.
Yeah.
It's our own evil desires.
Oh, sure.
Right? Like, it's us wanting to be
Defiant.
God. It's us wanting to be God. I mean, like, just like you said, that's what it is.
We want
I
to
know.
be God.
I was.
We want to blame the devil,
yes. Well,
and
I
want to get
First
people.
off, it is all his fault to begin with.
I mean,
Okay. first
actually, we'd still be in the garden if
That great
if,
serpent of old.
Adam would have just done his job as head of
So-
household,
Mm,
right? Like,
Dun, 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 dun.
we'd still be there,
Yeah.
or at least his
Maybe.
descendants would be there.
Tricky guy.
Right?
Yeah, don't worry. I know what
It's
happens.
not his
to him.
fault.
Read the back of the book. You'll find out
We
what
win,
happens to
yeah.
him.
Wow.
We win.
There'll be people waiting for him. It's kind of like the idea of like, I've seen these movies where like a cop ends up being bad and then goes to jail, and the people he arrested are like, oh yeah.
We're gonna get
Guess
you.
what?
Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever had a season where you viewed God's commands as restrictive, only to later realize they were protecting you?
Have I had it?
A season of life where you were like, "Ah, man, God's rules
Hmm.
are so restrictive. I wish I could just do this thing," but then you come to find out later that it's been protecting you from something.
Hmm. I don't know if I could necessarily point at the commandments, but I mean, like, it's.
Well, I just
like,
mean,
right. But
yeah.
I mean, like, as far as practices of like getting up and going to church, we actually had a teaching on this last night, and they were asking us like, which excuse do you most typically use if you're not going to go to church or be involved in a ministry? And my typical go to is, I'm exhausted. I've had a really long week, and I can't mentally handle doing that anymore. But it's like almost every time there's some type of report. Hey, so and so just came back. They haven't been here in 8 months. They were looking for you, and they're leaving tomorrow. Like, the one time I chose not to go would have been an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And the more and more you go, the more and more seeps into you, the better person you become. So there's really no reason not to go, even if you're tired.
Okay. Yeah, I got a few. So I would say, first off, you will have no other gods before me is important. It's weird. It's not that it felt overly restrictive, but it definitely keeps you so that you're not getting influenced by the idea that this is your God or that is your God. So there's one. Number two, let's jump to the end. The coveting things, will protect you from a lot of extra temptations that you don't need, especially to do some of the other sins. But even economically and practically, losing your mind on things that you don't need to be losing your mind on, like obsessing about things that don't need obsessed about. Definitely something that needs to be at the forefront. And then I would say, let's go backwards and go back to the Sabbath. Resting is so important.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like, well, I just need to get all this done. And then you wear yourself down and you get sick and you have to Sabbath anyway. And you're like, man, it would have been just so much better if I would have just
forced
rested
Sabbath.
before. And so, yeah, it's wonderful to, when you start to get these things in place or you get to a point where you're like, living this way was good for this time being or for all of this, because it helped me not fall into this or that.
So let's step back to the coveting thing for a minute. What's your favorite car? Like, what's your dream car?
I've owned it.
Nice.
It was up until,
Owned your dream car. That's pretty.
it was an STI, Subaru WRX STI. It was basically a rally car on the road. I was obsessed with it, and then I bought it. Yep.
Was it expensive?
I bought it at 21 years old.
Was it expensive?
Yeah. It was stupid expensive. I shouldn't have ever bought that car.
Yeah.
No, I mean, seriously, like, it was so expensive, and I was car poor, sort of. I mean, I had a job that I could do it with at the time, but yeah.
I think that's a practical thing that people can relate to. I mean, something owning in general, like the fact that a lot of times when you get so obsessed with having to have that,
Yeah.
you don't mind going into debt, which then shackles you.
I actually
Yep.
just bought my other dream car, but it kind of happened more relaxed. Because I always wanted an old
That's such a
Volkswagen
sad
Beetle,
dream
and
car.
now I have one.
Sad dream car.
It's not a sad. It's amazing. I've always wanted an old Bug, and now I got one.
Now you got one.
But I didn't
Small
obsess about it
victories.
like I did.
It's all
like,
right. I
you
give
know
it.
what?
I give it a year, and then you'll trade it for another dream car.
Ooh.
If it's a dream car, but I don't know what else I'd want. So here's the thing.
Not until it comes up.
We'll see.
Bus,
How about a dual
Volkswagen
window
bus?
bus?
Here's though what's important about that first dream car I bought, and I really was in my youth. I was so obsessed. I was like, I gotta get it. And I fell into believing some of the lies that I'll be okay once I get it. I'll feel so great if I get it. I'll be so significant
So
if I get it.
Yeah.
I'll feel I'll just be wonderful. My life will be so great. And then I got it. And look, there was this honeymoon period where I thought, this is it. But through some certain events in my life, I suddenly realized that this isn't the most important thing. And then it wasn't long before I was letting it go in my life. And what I thought was going to be the most important thing ended up being nothing. And it's wild to think about. But I learned that lesson. I'm glad I learned it in my early 20s. But it was life-changing for me to go. I was so obsessed. I thought this was the thing. And then it wasn't the thing. You know, and man, I'm so grateful for that, because so many of us keep falling into those kinds of lies all the time, even on small things. Man, I'll just, if I could just get through this week, if I could just get to that vacation, man, if I just, what I would really be great is to help me when I get home is if I had that new TV. It'd be great if I could just go to that football game, if I could go to that baseball game. It'd be great.
That line just keeps getting farther and farther away.
And so, and it's all manner of things that we convince ourselves, oh man, I'm just looking for that thing. Yeah, I can't tell you how many vacations I was like, man, this is really going to make all this hard work feel so good. And then the vacation's okay. Don't get me wrong. It's okay.
Yep.
But it's like, nope, you come back and you're still feeling everything before. And you're like, that wasn't the thing. You got to stop putting that much pressure on the thing. But the funny thing is if you replace all those things, if you replace them all with Jesus, you're going to find a much higher success rate where he's going to start coming through in ways you didn't see it happening. When you stop going, if I could just get this, I'll be happy. And if you go, Jesus, I'm not okay. Please help me be okay. And he'll do it. He will. It might not be in exactly your time frame. It may not be instant. Maybe it will be. Maybe you're going to find in the long run that he did something you never expected and you found yourself in a better place than you even imagined before. You never know what God can do. However, I can tell you, and I can promise you, as a person who has read a lot of scripture and the person that has had a relationship with God for a period of time now, that it will be okay in the end, and it will be worth it in the end. No one gets to the end of their life serving God and goes, I wish I wouldn't have served God.
Yep.
Especially when they get to cross that line into eternity. They will not be upset about that.
Well, think about even just like, let's take the Sabbath for example, right? It's like when you really start honing and saying, this is like, I'm done. This is my day. This is my Sabbath day. And you don't relent on it. You don't, all right, I'll take the occasional. I'll come in on Tuesday just for a little bit, whatever. Then you're establishing boundaries with the people in your life. So now they are not intruding in your life because you're always available. You are teaching your body that it's okay to stop for a while, which is causing your brain to rest a little bit. And I would argue that you probably would enjoy a vacation more knowing like your body has now been trained to stop now and again, whereas most of our society is, I'm going to work 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then I'm going to try to stop. And the only time while you're gone, all you're doing is just spiraling the entire time going, man, when I get back, I got to do this. And I forgot to do that. And I better call this guy. And half the time I've been on vacation, I'm taking phone calls and text messages, dealing with stuff that's going on while I'm not there. So. Well,
I mean, it's driven also by what we've allowed to just exist in our society where, we're looked at to be on 24/7.
Yep.
We're looked at to like, it might be your day off, but just grab that text message, just grab that email, just be okay if I call you, and it's wild. And I used to appreciate years ago, I worked at a car dealership and my boss would call me. The first thing he would do if I answered the phone on my day off is say, hey, I'm sorry to call you like this, but, and I appreciated at least that. Like he acknowledged that you're off. I get you're off. I just really need to know the answer to this question. And I appreciated that more than just, hey, you need to, because then it showed at least some respect for the fact that I'm not supposed to be there. But the thing is that you're right. It's hard for us to slow down.
Yeah.
To go on vacation, to challenge some people, what I'm about to say, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel this pressure and they're not really going to know, but it's going to be there. Because let's say if you were to challenge yourself to go on vacation, and here's the thing, turn your phone off the whole time.
Woo.
Like a week, you have zero phone on. Like you don't. You just find a place to go where you do not need a phone.
Yep.
And you do it whether you think you don't need a phone. Just turn it off. Get it all inclusive. Everything's there.
There you go.
Turn off the phone. An entire week, zero communication with the outside world. Can you do that? And I know people listening are going, at least some of them are going, yeah,
thinking,
because
yeah.
we're told that we can't be unplugged. We have to be plugged in. We have to be ready. We have to be willing to hear. I mean, something could happen to somebody. Something could happen to something of my stuff. Somebody, I might be needed. Somebody might have a question. All the things that you can possibly think of in your mind. And sometimes God goes, you need to just stop listening to all that and just listen to me.
Yep, because all that is rooted in pride. That's basically saying if I shut my phone off, something will break and something will fall apart because I'm the one who's controlling it. We're back to being God again.
Well, if it's not pride, then it's fear.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is that I'm afraid that if I'm not there to answer, then I will be disregarded, rejected, maybe fired, maybe unappreciated, all those kinds of things. And that can't happen. I can't lose status inside, which is somewhat prideful in itself, or I can't be hurt because I wasn't available or any of these things.
Yep.
Yeah. Whew. It's good. We're getting ready to go. Actually, by the time you guys are listening to this, we've already gone on.
How was it?
It was great. On a sabbatical trip for Lizzie, and there's going to be like next to no reception, and there's going to be no Wi-Fi and that sort of thing. We're going to use it for our phones for travel.
Yep.
Obviously, like getting from point A to point B. But we're going to do our best to shut our phones off for the majority of the time. We're going to Colorado.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
We'll test him a couple times. We'll shoot him a text and say, "Hey, can you call me real quick?"
Oh
Just
my
see
gosh.
if it
He probably hit me.
I'll text you back. No.
right.
So I did the same. I did a retreat in Georgia.
Yeah, we're going to that the second week.
You
So,
are?
Yeah,
That's just the same.
Yeah,
Just the one
I
I
know.
sent Nick to. So great. No
So,
Wi-Fi.
yeah, we're doing.
terrible phone reception. Turn it off.
There's a couples in ministry like retreat center in Colorado that we're going to go to for the first week, and then we're going to fly back, get Serenity, and then go to Georgia. So it was great. It was a great trip.
Highly recommend.
I already know.
Small fishing rod. You don't need a big one. You can even get one little.
I don't want to fish.
No, listen to me.
Fishing is awful.
You and Serenity have to experience this.
No, we really don't.
No, listen. You need to listen.
It's the worst already.
It's not. So
Side by sides, great idea.
no, there's this little dock with a little cover, and they got this little feed barrel. Take some feed, throw it in the water. You'll see how many billions of
I don't want
bluegills.
to touch the fish.
Stop being a wuss. There's gonna be so many bluegills, and all you gotta do is take a worm or anything. You can put a little piece of chicken, put it in there, and it's basically a dip and snag. It's so easy to catch fish.
I don't want to catch them.
It'll rock your daughter's
I
world.
don't like to eat them. I don't want to
Do it
touch
for
them.
your daughter.
I don't want to touch the worm.
Do it for your daughter. She will never catch.
Actually,
so
I
many
don't mind
fish
touching the
so
worm.
easily.
I don't want to hook the worm because that's gross.
Oh my gosh! Just do it for your daughter.
All right. Well, probably
I don't
not.
like anything about it, but you need to do it.
You'll rock their world.
We've done it before, just not to that.
But this is
extent.
it's like fishing in a barrel. It's
So-
so easy.
If we can't perfectly fulfill this law, then what's God's ultimate purpose for it? Like, what's it pointing towards?
Well, I mean, we can't. But what it does is it shows us that we need God. And so then it comes down to the ultimate thing. We either accept God or we don't. We accept the gospel. That's what it is. It's what it's all about. And the gospel is the good news that Jesus can save you from your sins. That's the good news. That is the gospel. So you can accept the gospel or reject the gospel.
Yeah.
And that's what the law shows you is like, you need to do this. So pick option A or B, and that's it. And I know that people don't like that. And I'm sorry. I'm not the one who makes the rules. The guy that made the universe makes the rules.
Look, Galatians says it, right? Galatians 3:24 says, "So then the law was our guardian until Christ came, and in order that we might be justified by faith."
Yep.
There you go.
The good news, he'll save you from it.
Yeah.
Boom. It'll point out why you need him to save you. And you can choose. That's the glory of it. You get to choose to accept it.
What is it? Matthew 7. I quoted a lot. The whole, not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father who's in heaven. Right? Like, that is what happens when you try to, like, earn salvation through all of your works. Is that he says, I've done all these things. I've checked all the boxes.
Right.
And he'll say, depart from me, I didn't know you.
Like you
Right,
didn't
like-
accept me.
That's
Right.
nice.
You never had me come
Good
in.
for you.
Right.
We never went into a relationship with one another.
Yeah.
Right.
I was there holding the door open with a big welcome sign, and you said, I'm good. And I said, okay.
Right.
Are you sure? Yep.
And-
Okay.
To your point,
I'll leave the door cracked open in case you change your mind.
to your point at the very beginning of everything, like I want to say like everything is black and white, but the relationship's the part that matters.
Mm.
Right? Like we get so focused on the black and white of we want everything to be black and white. We want it to be check off, check, you know.
Well, the relationship is the guidelines, the
But-
way that guides your life.
Right. The relationship is the I
We're back
failed
to it.
this, right?
Yep.
I failed this black and white test, right? I failed it. Now what? Because now I'm operating in the gray, which all of us are.
Yeah.
And we know that things are black and white, even if we don't want to admit to it. But now we're living in the gray because we failed to do it, and that's where the relationship part comes in, right? Like that's where we have to have this relationship because we can't do it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Well
So-
said. So,
Yeah. So that's it.
That is it. That's what we got.
We've
That's
given you
what's-
the introduction
yep.
to the commandments of the Lord Jesus and his Father and his Holy Spirit. So, I mean, what else do you need?
Right.
I guess we should, next episode, we should probably talk about some of these exact commandments. What do you think?
Probably.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So next time
Next
on the
time.
truth response, we're gonna
Commandment number 1.
Exodus 23, 20.
Thou
23.
shalt.
Right.
Thou
Chapter
shalt.
20,
We're going to
verse-
shall nots.
We're gonna shall nots, and the first shall not is have any other god before me.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Which is important.
Next time.
So
Gadget. Yeah.
I don't get you.
so what are your thoughts
Then the
on what are your thoughts on his weird noises? No.
Right.
What are your thoughts on all of this? Like, do you guys think that it's just constrictive? Do you guys think that do you think we're way off base? Do you think that what we've talked about today has nothing to do with the commandments, and why? Like, if you think that, like, or did we miss something in some of that? Like, let us know.
Yeah.
I've
That's what the
really
comment section's
appreciated
for.
all the comments about all the references and stuff like that have come in recently.
Keep
To
bringing them.
things. I love it. So we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things. Comment. And we have this cool thing called Patreon. Patreon
Did you guys
is
practice that?
No.
That was amazing.
It has worked.
we're just great like that. Patreon is a way that you can financially support this channel and get some perks in it. You
Yep.
know, some of the tiers offer a song that comes out every so often, once a month. Backgrounds for your phones, weekly devotionals, T-shirt after like 3 months, I think, on the high tier. Some stickers on the lower tiers.
Who doesn't like a
Some
t-shirt?
cool things. Yeah, who doesn't like a sticker?
You know what? I tell you what.
I know your kids do.
I know that everyone loves a t-shirt. You know how I know this?
How do you know this?
I go to sporting events and they come out with that little t-shirt launcher
Oh,
and
right.
everyone loses their minds.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, we need to have one of those next.
And
time we
usually
go
it's like
live.
size
Oh, dude.
adult large. Yeah,
Just-
that'd be great.
Right in the face.
Yeah, right.
You're
It's
not
never
wrong.
the right size.
I thought you were gonna say, and everyone there is wearing a shirt. Like,
They are. They
but
all
that is
wearing
true.
t-shirts and they're like, I need a t-shirt.
But that's
You're
a good
wearing
point.
A t-shirt. It's fine.
That's a good point. Why do they have T-shirts at sporting events? So you can rep your team, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to rep your team,
Right.
This
let us
one,
know. We can
right
get
now.
you shirts.
Right here.
We can look.
Get you
Look at
hats.
this. Look at this. Hats. We
Mhm.
got hats.
We got
Tum-
merch.
tum-
We got
tumblers.
merch. We
There's
got the
merch.
merch.
And laser engraved stuff on tumblers.
We still have some limited edition keychains left over from the
Mhm.
250th episode. Like,
Oh, man.
we got all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, shoot us a message.
We got doodads and thingamajigs.
We can totally hook you up and get it to you.
yeah.
We're working on laser engraving.
If you
tattoos.
send us a postcard,
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
there's
right.
nowhere to send it to postcard too. So.
Yeah, there
very
is. There is. Here, we can have them
An
send
actual
it.
postcard?
Why not?
That would be wild.
If you want to send a postcard to us, send it to 50 Bell Boulevard,
North.
Lehigh Acres, North. 50
Lehigh
Bell
Acres.
Boulevard, North.
North.
Lehigh Acres, Florida, 33936.
Yeah, that would
which
be
is
wild.
the church that we go to. So
Do you remember
we will get
as a
it.
kid, they used to be like, if you send us a postcard, you can be in this competition and give it away. It was a sweepstakes.
Of course.
Get into the sweepstakes. I remember one that I actually like went and I got a postcard and I filled it out and I sent it in because if you won, you'd get a whole truckload of Nerf
Yeah.
stuff.
You know what?
And I was like, I want that. Did I win? No. But
course
it
not.
looked like it would be
And
the
then your
most
parents
awesome-
started getting stuff in the mail.
I'll tell you what.
The other
Let's
thing
do
I
it.
did-
Let's do it.
The other
Do
thing
what?
I did is they had
do the
one
thing.
where if you send a postcard,
He's
and
not
you could
listening.
get picked to go into a toy store, and you had like a minute,
Yep.
and you could just go through and just throwing things in the cart, and then whatever's in the cart you got to keep. And I was like, I want to do that.
I love the sweepstakes. Yep.
All right. So
All right, here we go.
let's do that. If you send us a postcard,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A legitimate
I'm getting
postcard.
a
excited
legitimate
right now.
postcard through the mail.
Through the mail.
Right.
50
So
Bell
those of you
Boulevard.
who like go to church with us, like you don't count. You can't just
You're
hand it
gonna
to
have
us, right?
to-
You have to actually mail it through the mail.
Yep.
You're gonna have to
Right?
put this in the notes. In the
So
comments.
yep.
Yeah.
Then and remind me of that because I won't remember. Then at the end.
What's
by
the sweepstake period?
the cutoff is the end of the series, right?
Sure.
The last the episode before the last. So,
So they gotta
5
get it, like,
episodes.
right
you got
on it.
5 weeks.
Okay.
You got 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Right. Then we will pick the winner.
Yep.
Right. We'll randomly
Snail
draw,
Right live on air.
and you will get a keychain.
Oh man.
You'll get a cup.
Ooh.
Wow.
You'll get a
And?
hat.
Okay.
Should we give away a T-shirt too?
Why not?
I think we should.
We're already on a roll.
All right, and a T-shirt.
Hold on.
All 4.
I think actually, for in case they're, I think what would be really cool is if we signed it.
Ooh.
I think we
was
should
that?
sign it. We should all sign one of the items.
That
Not
would be cool.
should,
You know what else we
will.
could do?
We will sign it.
If you don't already
Mm-hmm.
have a Patreon subscription,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not already signed up, we will gift you a 1-month subscription.
1 month.
Look at this guy.
Okay, that's interesting. So there's a lot. He's gonna have to remember all this. He's gonna have
And
to
while
watch
we're
it
at
back.
it. No. I'm just kidding.
And if you act
We'll
now,
fly you out. No.
If you act now.
Yeah. No, do it. That'd be fun.
love it.
That'd be wild.
That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
send a postcard. You know,
Postcards. The
to-
truth response. Truth. My gosh.
the truth response.
Response. Postcard. Sweepstakes.
50 Bell Boulevard North, Lehigh
15?
Acres, Florida, 33936.
50.
50.
50.
50 Bell Boulevard,
Boulevard.
North.
Yes.
Lehigh
And I'll
Acres.
put the information in the
Let's see if
description
he
below.
remembers.
Perfect.
If you're listening to this, or if you're on, I'll tell you what, if you're on YouTube right now and you're watching this madness and this is not in the comments, remember who to blame. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yell at me. Yell at me.
Right.
If I've forgotten, I want to hear the comments about it. So
All right.
thanks for joining us today, guys. You guys have been awesome. We love you. And as always,
God bless.
God bless.
Truth in the battle, light in the loss. What we see